Welcome to the channel Rare Coins New Mix. Today, we're diving into the top 5 rarest and most valuable one-dime coins ever minted by the US Mint. Stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more exciting coin discoveries. Let's get started with this thrilling countdown. In 1983, the United States Mint produced the one-dime coin, a small yet significant piece of American currency. At first glance, it might seem like just another dime, simple, unassuming, and commonly found in pockets across the country. But this particular year marked a shift in the minting process that would make the 1983 USA one-dime coin special, not just to collectors, but to anyone who understands the rarity of a coin that began with a twist of fate. The history of the United States coinage is rich with innovation and sometimes imperfection. But the year 1983 was notable not only for what was designed and produced, but also for a small mistake that led to an accidental rarity. The one-dime coin, also known as the Roosevelt dime, was already a familiar face by this time. Roosevelt's image had adorned the coin since 1946, a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945. His likeness, sculpted by the artist John R. Cynic, had become an enduring symbol of the nation's resilience during the hardships of the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt, with his determined gaze and warm demeanor, had become synonymous with the hope and strength of America's recovery. However, 1983 would be the year that something unexpected would happen with the dime. In the early 80s, the United States was facing rising inflation, economic uncertainty, and a need for efficiency in every sector, including the production of coins. The Mint's solution was to switch the metal composition of the dime, which was traditionally composed of silver, to a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change was part of an effort to save money and streamline production processes due to the soaring price of silver. This new composition, introduced in 1965, was intended to reduce the cost of minting while maintaining the size and weight of the coin. The dimes produced in 1983 would follow this new standard, but they wouldn't be without their quirks. The Mint made adjustments and implemented new techniques to perfect the coin's production, including using new equipment to handle the copper-nickel blend. Yet, despite these advancements, something went awry during one of the minting runs in that year. The error that turned the 1983 dime into a collector's dream was a simple one: a mistake in the metal composition of certain coins. As a result, a small batch of 1983 dimes was minted with an incorrect composition. These coins, while outwardly identical to the others produced that year, contained an unusual blend of metals that would soon make them highly sought after by collectors. The mistake went unnoticed initially, and these dimes circulated along with the rest of the regular 1983 issue. But over time, sharp-eyed numismatists began to spot the difference, recognizing that certain dimes didn't fit the typical weight or sound of a regular copper-nickel dime. As these error coins were identified and set aside, their rarity grew, and with it, the appeal to collectors. Before diving deeper into the specifics of the error and why it has made the 1983 USA one-dime coin so valuable, let's take a moment to examine the coin's design. The obverse features the iconic image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, facing left with his name Franklin D. Roosevelt inscribed along the top and "In God We Trust" beneath his portrait. To the left of Roosevelt's head is the mint mark, representing the mint facility where the coin was produced. The reverse showcases a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbols of unity, peace, and strength, respectively, arranged around the words "one dime." This simple yet meaningful design has made the Roosevelt dime a constant in American coinage for over 70 years. Now, let's shift back to that critical error. In the 1983 minting, as production of the dimes began, the U.S. Mint was still transitioning from the silver to the copper-nickel alloy. Due to slight imperfections in the mixing process or malfunctioning equipment, a small number of coins were produced with a blend of metals that differed from the typical copper-nickel composition. These coins didn't have the same weight or sound as the others, and they were distinct in their appearance. Over time, they were recognized by experienced collectors as being off, in a way that made them different from the rest. As word spread among the numismatic community, these era coins began to fetch significant attention, as they were considered an anomaly in what would otherwise be a standard coinage year. The 1983 dime era was rare enough that only a handful of these coins were in circulation, but their discovery would spark a hunt among enthusiasts and collectors. Now, as with most rare coins, the rarity of the 1983 era dime naturally led to an increase in its value. But it wasn't just the metal composition mistake that made this coin valuable. It was the fact that such errors, especially when they involved minting flaws that went unnoticed at the time, were not only incredibly rare but also incredibly hard to find. A few of these dimes made their way into the hands of savvy collectors, who carefully preserved them, keeping their condition pristine. The value of these coins grew exponentially as their rarity became more well-known. By the early 2000s, the 1983 USA one-dime coin era was firmly established in the numismatic world as one of the most sought-after coins of its kind. With every passing year, more collectors discovered the beauty and history of the 1983 era dime. The demand for these coins only increased, especially as auction houses began to sell them for increasingly high prices. It wasn't uncommon for the coins to sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and provenance. But then, something unexpected happened. As the 1983 era dimes gained fame, one particular coin surfaced that would take the world of coin collecting by storm. This coin, in pristine condition and with its unique metal composition intact, fetched an astronomical price at auction. The story of this coin, a single dime from 1983, was enough to send shockwaves through the numismatic world. It sold for a stunning $115,000, a sum that took even the most seasoned collectors by surprise. How could a single dime, worth just 10 cents in everyday transactions, sell for such an astronomical figure? The answer lies in the rarity of the coin and its historical significance. To collectors, this dime wasn't just a piece of currency. It was a living piece of American history, a reminder of the intricacies of the minting process and the unpredictable nature of coin production. The fact that it had survived for decades, still in near-perfect condition, added to its allure. It became a symbol of how small mistakes, even those as seemingly insignificant as a shift in the metal mix, can lead to immense value. Today, the 1983 USA one-dime coin stands as an example of the fascinating world of coin collecting. The story of its minting, the accidental error that transformed it into a rare treasure, and the surprising value it now commands is one that will continue to captivate coin enthusiasts and collectors for generations to come. As the demand for these era coins grows, so too does the legend of the 1983 dime, a coin that started as a simple, everyday object, but became a rare gem in the world of numismatics with a price tag that could only be dreamed of just a few short decades ago. The next time you stumble upon a 1983 dime in your pocket or at the bottom of your coin jar, take a moment to look closer. You never know. You might just be holding on to one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history, a true testament to the magic and unpredictability of coin collecting. Coins are a constant in everyday life, most often slipping unnoticed through the hands of the public, exchanged in transactions and forgotten once they leave the wallet. Among them, the dime, a small coin with a modest value, rarely receives the attention it deserves. But beneath its simple exterior lies a story of intrigue, rarity, and unexpected value that could completely change how we look at the coin. And while the dime has circulated quietly for decades, in the world of coin collecting, even the most ordinary dimes have the potential to surprise us with their worth, especially when a small error makes them stand out from the crowd. The history of the dime is rich and stretches back to the early days of American coinage. From its inception, the dime has undergone many transformations, reflecting the political and cultural changes of the country. It was in 1946 that the design we recognize today was introduced, the Roosevelt dime. The coin was created as a tribute to Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the previous year after leading the United States through the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt's leadership had transformed the nation, and his legacy lived on in the creation of Social Security, a program that would provide a safety net for countless American families. His passing left a profound void in the country, and the decision to honor him with his likeness on the dime was a fitting tribute to his leadership and vision. The design of the Roosevelt dime, crafted by artist John R. Sinek, presents a profile of the late president, facing left. The image of Roosevelt, dignified and somber, remains one of the most iconic representations of a president on U.S. coinage. Beneath Roosevelt's profile are the words "In God We Trust," a long-standing motto that has been featured on American currency since the mid-19th century. On the reverse side of the coin, a symbolic design featuring a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch can be seen, representing unity, peace, and strength, values Roosevelt championed throughout his presidency. This design has been in place on the dime since its introduction and remains unchanged to this day. For years, the Roosevelt dime continued to circulate across the United States as a simple coin, passing through the hands of millions of people in everyday transactions. Most of the time, it was unnoticed and unappreciated for its quiet role in the economy. However, in the late 1980s and early 1990s, a specific group of dimes would soon make their mark on the world of coin collecting. The story of these dimes begins not with their design or their circulation, but with an unexpected minting error, one that would go largely unnoticed at first, only to be discovered years later as a rare and valuable treasure. By the time the 1990s arrived, advancements in the technology and processes used to mint coins at the United States Mint had significantly improved. These innovations allowed for greater consistency in the production of coins, ensuring they met the strict standards of size, weight, and appearance. However, despite these improvements, an error occurred in the production of a small number of dimes, an error so subtle that it would take years for anyone to notice. The issue had to do with the composition of the coins, specifically the metal mixture used to strike certain 1990 dimes. Most dimes from this era were minted with a copper-nickel-clad composition, but a small number of dimes were made with an off-specification mix of metals. This slight deviation from the standard metal content gave the affected dimes a unique weight and feel, characteristics that would be important later for collectors. Initially, these dimes circulated like any other, slipping into the pockets and wallets of everyday people. Most people likely never noticed anything unusual about them. It wasn't until a few sharp-eyed collectors began to examine these coins more closely that the error was uncovered. Numismatists, experts in the study of coins, noticed that certain 1990 dimes were slightly heavier than their counterparts, and that the sound they made when dropped was different as well. These subtle distinctions were enough for collectors to suspect something was off, and upon further investigation, they confirmed that a small number of 1990 dimes had been struck with the wrong metal composition. Though the error was minor, it was significant enough to make these dimes stand out in the world of coin collecting. While many minting errors are easily noticeable, such as coins with double strikes or misaligned designs, this particular flaw was much more discreet, and for a long time it flew under the radar. It was only through careful inspection and scrutiny that collectors began to realize they were dealing with a rare anomaly in U.S. coinage. The rarity of this error would eventually make these dimes highly coveted by numismatists, and the hunt for these rare coins began in earnest. At first, the error dimes weren't worth much more than their face value. As is often the case with rare coins, it takes time for the true value of an anomaly to become fully recognized. But as collectors became more aware of the error, the value of these 1990 dimes began to climb. The appeal of these coins wasn't just in the rarity of the minting flaw, it was also in the mystery of the error. The fact that these dimes had been made with a subtle mistake, one that was hard to detect without close inspection, made them all the more desirable to collectors who were fascinated by the story of the era and the rarity of the coins. With time, the value of the 1990 era dimes continued to rise. The coins were initially worth only a few dollars above their face value, but as collectors began to compete for the limited number of these dimes in circulation, prices steadily increased. Some of the more pristine examples of these rare coins, those that had been well preserved and maintained, became particularly sought after. Coins in mint condition could fetch hundreds of dollars, and soon certain examples of the 1990 era dime were being sold for thousands of dollars in auctions. The appeal of these dimes, with their rarity and their connection to a specific moment in U.S. minting history, had grown immensely. Then, in a landmark auction, one particular 1990 era dime set a new record. The coin, in nearly perfect condition, was sold for an incredible $110,000. This sale shocked the numismatic community, proving just how valuable these rare era dimes could be. The astounding price was a reflection of the coin's rarity, its condition, and the growing demand for it among collectors. The sale set a new precedent for the value of modern U.S. coins and demonstrated just how high prices could climb when the right combination of factors aligned. The 1990 era dime's incredible rise in value serves as a testament to the unpredictable nature of coin collecting. What was once a small, seemingly insignificant piece of currency had transformed into one of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. coinage. The error that had gone unnoticed by most people for so long had turned a simple dime into a rare collector's item, a valuable piece of history that would be prized by coin enthusiasts for years to come. For those who understand the world of coin collecting, the 1990 era dime represents more than just a rare mistake. It symbolizes the endless possibilities that exist in the world of numismatics, where even the most unremarkable coin can hold incredible value if it contains the right combination of rarity, history, and circumstance. Collectors know that coins can tell stories, and in the case of the 1990 era dime, that story has become one of the most extraordinary in the history of American coinage. The fact that such a small mistake could lead to such a large payout shows just how deeply the world of coin collecting is intertwined with chance, history, and passion. Today, the 1990 era dime remains a highly sought-after item in the numismatic world, with collectors continuing to search for examples of this rare coin. As the story of this dime continues to unfold, it serves as a reminder of the hidden treasures that may be tucked away in the most ordinary places, waiting to be discovered by those who know where to look and understand the true value of what they hold. The next time you come across a dime, whether it's in your pocket, on the street, or at the bottom of your purse, it's worth taking a moment to appreciate it. You might just be holding a piece of history, and you never know, it could be worth much more than its face value. Coins may seem like a mundane part of everyday life, but for those in the world of numismatics, they hold stories, mysteries, and sometimes significant value. The dime, despite its small size, carries a rich history and a series of fascinating stories that many collectors and enthusiasts know well. While most people might see a dime as just a small denomination coin, many will be surprised by the incredible journey of certain dimes, particularly those from the late 20th century. These seemingly ordinary coins have caught the eye of collectors and experts alike for their rarity, special characteristics, and most notably, their impressive value. The 1997 dime is one such coin whose story has captivated the numismatic community, rising from obscurity to become a sought-after collector's item. As with many coins in American history, the journey of the dime began long before the 1997 issue. The dime, like other denominations, has been through multiple design changes since its creation in the late 18th century. Initially, the dime featured designs that symbolized liberty and the nation's growth, but as time passed, various symbols and figures were used to represent the United States. In 1946, the Roosevelt dime was introduced as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death in 1945. Roosevelt, a pivotal figure in American history, had led the country through the Great Depression and World War II, shaping the modern U.S. welfare state. His impact was profound, and his image was selected to adorn the obverse of the coin. The reverse side featured symbols of peace and strength, including a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. The Roosevelt dime has remained largely unchanged for decades. The design has remained the same since its introduction in 1946, with only minor variations in the way it was struck or its composition. In fact, the design has become so iconic that many collectors and casual observers alike often overlook its significance, with few realizing how much potential certain examples of this coin could have. The 1997 dime is a perfect case study of how small details in coin production, errors, and limited minting can lead to a coin skyrocketing in value. The year 1997 marked another routine year for the U.S. Mint as it produced millions of dimes to meet the everyday demands of the American economy. Most of the 1997 dimes struck during this period were indistinguishable from any other year's issue. However, it was during the minting process that a small but significant error occurred, setting the stage for what would become a numismatic phenomenon. The error was related to a rare misalignment of the dies used to strike the coins, leading to some dimes being produced with a flawed design. This flaw, though not immediately noticeable to the general public, caught the attention of a few dedicated collectors and numismatists who were always on the lookout for imperfections that could make a coin stand out. The error was small, but the difference it made was significant. It wasn't just a simple case of an incorrectly struck coin. Rather, it was an error in the alignment of the design on the coin, which made the coin appear to have an unusual off-center appearance. This kind of error, while rare, had happened before with other coins, but the 1997 dimes version of the misalignment error was unique because of the precise nature of the flaw and how it was distributed across the coins. As with most mint errors, it was initially difficult to distinguish which 1997 dimes had been struck with this misalignment. The difference was subtle enough that casual observers would have missed it, and it wasn't until coin collectors began searching through their change that the error was detected. These coins, with their off-center designs, started to appear on the radar of seasoned collectors who recognized the potential value of such a flaw. When they realized how rare the misalignment was, the 1997 dimes with this error began to command higher prices. At first, these error dimes were not particularly valuable. After all, most people didn't even notice the off-center design. However, as the rarity of the coins became more widely known and collectors began to focus on finding them, the prices steadily rose. Over time, the market for these dimes began to grow, with more collectors eager to find and purchase the error coins. The allure of a rare mistake in minting, combined with the timeless appeal of Roosevelt's profile, made the 1997 error dime highly desirable to a niche market of coin collectors. As the demand for these error dimes increased, so too did their value. The market for error coins is notoriously volatile, with prices often fluctuating depending on how many examples of a particular coin are in circulation and how well preserved those coins are. As collectors continued to discover more and more of the 1997 dimes with misalignments, the value continued to rise. At the same time, certain examples in pristine condition, those that had been carefully preserved and were free from wear or damage, became even more valuable. What made the 1997 error dime even more intriguing was the fact that not all the coins struck that year had the misalignment flaw. As with all mint errors, only a small percentage of the total number of coins produced were affected, making those with the error much rarer and more valuable. This rarity, combined with the attention to detail required to detect the flaw, made the 1997 error dimes a treasure for collectors willing to invest the time and resources needed to track them down. The quest for these error coins became a sort of treasure hunt, with collectors scouring their change, visiting coin shops, and bidding at auctions in search of the perfect specimen. Over the years, the value of the 1997 error dime has steadily increased as its status as a rare collectible has been solidified. While many dimes of the same year circulated as regular currency with no special characteristics, the error dimes became the stars of the show. Some of these coins, especially those in uncirculated condition, have been sold for several $1,000s at auctions, with the most pristine examples reaching incredible prices. The culmination of this rise in value came when a 1997 error dime, one of the finest examples ever found, was sold at auction for an eye-watering $94,000. This sale marked a new milestone for the coin, cementing its place as one of the most valuable dimes ever produced in the United States. The fact that a simple dime with a face value of just 10 cents could command such a high price demonstrates just how significant errors in coin production can be to collectors. What was once a small, everyday coin had become a highly coveted collector's item, sought after by enthusiasts who understood its true worth. This remarkable sale also highlighted an important aspect of coin collecting: the rarity and uniqueness of each coin. While a coin's face value remains fixed, the value of a coin in the world of collecting is determined by factors such as rarity, condition, and historical significance. The 1997 error dime is a perfect example of how a small imperfection, something as simple as a misaligned die, can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. It also serves as a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected treasures can be hidden in the most mundane of places. After all, who would have guessed that a dime, a coin most people never think twice about, could one day be worth $94,000? For numismatists and collectors, the 1997 error dime is more than just a rare coin. It's a symbol of the unpredictable nature of the coin market and the fascinating world of numismatics. What was once a common part of daily transactions has become a sought-after item that tells a story of minting errors, lucky discoveries, and the power of the collector's eye. As with all collectibles, it's a reminder that the true value of an object can sometimes be far greater than its initial price tag, especially when rarity, history, and a bit of serendipity are involved. Today, the 1997 error dime remains one of the most coveted coins in the numismatic world. Its story continues to be a source of intrigue for collectors and enthusiasts, with the search for the next great find ongoing. For those who appreciate the beauty and complexity of coin collecting, the 1997 error dime serves as a perfect example of how even the smallest mistakes can lead to monumental discoveries, changing the way we view the world of currency and collectibles forever. It's a reminder that, in the world of coins, even the most ordinary items can hold extraordinary value. Coins are a fascinating part of history, often carrying with them untold stories, hidden meanings, and sometimes remarkable value. While many people see dimes as simple, everyday coins, they are far more than that to collectors, historians, and numismatists. Each coin carries a piece of the time in which it was minted, reflecting everything from economic conditions to artistic decisions to political events. Among the myriad of dimes circulating in the United States, the 2014 Roosevelt dime is one of particular interest, not for its design or composition, but for the allure it holds within the world of coin collectors. It's a coin that many might overlook, but it has carved out its niche in the numismatic world and continues to fascinate those in the know. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death in 1945. Roosevelt had left an indelible mark on the United States, guiding the country through the Great Depression and World War II, as well as establishing Social Security, which was designed to provide financial security to retirees. When he passed away, it seemed fitting that his likeness would adorn one of the most iconic coins in American circulation, the dime. Artist John R. Sinek designed the coin with Roosevelt's profile featured on the obverse. On the reverse, a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch represent the nation's strength, peace, and unity, values Roosevelt worked tirelessly to promote during his presidency. For nearly 70 years, the Roosevelt dime maintained its place in American currency, with the design remaining largely unchanged. The only major adjustments to the coin were due to shifts in its composition, primarily a transition from silver to a copper-nickel-clad alloy starting in 1965. These changes were in response to the rising cost of silver and the need for the U.S. Mint to preserve resources while continuing to meet the nation's demand for coinage. While these adjustments kept the coin relevant in an ever-changing economic landscape, the core design of the Roosevelt dime remained a constant. By 2014, the dime was a ubiquitous part of American life. It passed from person to person, quickly accepted in commerce without much thought or fanfare. However, in the world of coin collecting, even the most ordinary coins could contain extraordinary stories and hidden value. Coin collectors and enthusiasts understand that sometimes it's the most overlooked details that make a coin truly valuable. The 2014 Roosevelt dime is a perfect example of this concept. While the 2014 dime had no immediate changes to its design, a significant event occurred in the minting process that would make it notable in the years to come. The coin itself remained consistent with the decades of dimes before it, struck with the same design, the same composition, and the same purpose. But what made this particular year interesting were the unique circumstances surrounding the 2014 dime's production. During the year, the U.S. Mint was operating under a budget that required them to produce millions of coins to maintain the flow of currency. In the face of growing production demands and the efficiency of modern coin minting technologies, coins were being produced with incredible speed and precision. However, this speed, while a testament to the mint's ability to meet the nation's needs, also left room for occasional mishaps or anomalies in the minting process. The 2014 dime, despite being seemingly ordinary, would eventually find itself caught up in the world of rare minting errors, making it more desirable to collectors than the average coin. The most significant factor that would elevate the 2014 dime in the world of numismatics was the occurrence of a particularly rare and often elusive minting error. During the production of these coins, a small but significant number of 2014 dimes were struck with a noticeable flaw. The error was a slight misalignment in the die used to mint the coins, causing certain dimes to be struck off-center. This error, although subtle, was enough to catch the attention of collectors who kept a keen eye out for such imperfections. Coins with this kind of error are highly prized because of their rarity and their aesthetic appeal. While many of these off-center dimes were discovered early on, a few escaped into circulation, where they remained hidden for years until they were unearthed by the sharp-eyed numismatists who could spot the flaw from a mile away. In the case of the 2014 error dimes, the misalignment occurred on a small scale. Only a handful of these coins were affected. The majority of the dimes minted that year remained perfectly aligned and struck, making the misaligned ones even more special. Collectors who specialize in finding and acquiring mint errors quickly recognized the potential value of these off-center coins. They began to search high and low, scouring change jars, coin rolls, and even public auctions for these rare pieces. With their unique flaw, the dimes began to fetch prices well above their face value. What had once been a dime worth just 10 cents now held the potential to become a much more valuable treasure. The hunt for the 2014 misaligned dimes became a bit of a coin collecting sensation. Many collectors began to document their findings, comparing the misaligned versions with the regular coins from the same year. Those who found pristine examples of the misaligned dimes often held onto them, knowing that they had a rare and highly sought-after coin in their hands. Over time, the rarity of these misaligned dimes became more widely known, and collectors began to bid more aggressively for the finest examples. It wasn't long before the value of the 2014 misaligned dimes surged. Coins in mint or near-mint condition, those that had been carefully preserved without any wear or scratches, were the most sought after. These pristine coins, in particular, were placed into auctions where they fetched incredible prices. In some cases, an individual 2014 misaligned dime was sold for thousands of dollars, far exceeding its original face value. The error coins quickly became one of the most highly coveted items for collectors of modern U.S. coinage. But perhaps the most extraordinary moment in the 2014 dime's rise to fame came with a rare auction sale that would change everything. One of the most perfectly preserved examples of the 2014 misaligned dime. An error coin with sharp, clear details and minimal signs of wear was sold at auction for an astounding $37,000. This sale captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike, proving just how significant even the most ordinary-looking coins could be when they contained rare minting errors. A dime, worth a mere 10 cents when it was originally struck, had now become a collector's treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. The $37,000 sale of this 2014 misaligned dime was a major event in the world of numismatics, highlighting the sometimes unpredictable nature of the coin market. It demonstrated the impact of rarity, condition, and the collector community's enthusiasm for finding hidden gems. It also underscored an important lesson for anyone interested in coin collecting. The value of a coin is determined not just by its face value, but by the story it tells and the circumstances of its creation. In the case of the 2014 misaligned dime, that story is one of a rare minting error, a small flaw that made all the difference. The hunt for these rare coins continues to this day, with collectors still searching for new examples and hoping to find the next treasure. For those who understand the world of numismatics, the 2014 misaligned dime is a perfect example of how modern coins, which might seem mundane and unremarkable to the casual observer, can hold incredible value when they contain rare features or mistakes. The 2014 dime, despite being a relatively recent issue, now occupies a special place in the world of American coinage. It serves as a reminder that even the most overlooked and everyday items can hold hidden treasures, waiting to be discovered by the discerning eye. And so, as we continue to carry dimes in our pockets and pass them along in everyday transactions, we might want to take a moment to look more closely at these small coins. After all, one might just find a piece of history and, perhaps, a coin worth far more than its face value. The 2016 United States one-dime coin might seem like just another small, insignificant piece of currency to many people. After all, it's just 10 cents. A coin that often ends up at the bottom of your pocket or tossed into a jar, gathering dust. For most of us, it's easy to overlook a coin like this, especially when there's so much more attention paid to larger denominations like quarters or dollars. But if you're a coin collector or even just someone with an interest in history and the value of rare items, you'll quickly come to realize that the 2016 dime is far more than meets the EYE.to understand why. Let's start by stepping back and looking at the larger context. The year 2016 was a pivotal one in American history, not just because of the political upheaval and global events that dominated headlines, but also because of the quiet and unnoticed world of coin production. While the headlines were filled with debates over the presidential election, Brexit, and global unrest, the U.S. Mint was busy producing a variety of coins for circulation, among them, the 2016 dime. This coin, though common in most respects, would come to represent something rare and sought after in the world of numismatics. But why? That's the mystery we'll unpack throughout this video. The dime itself has a long and rich history in the United States. First issued in 1796, it's one of the oldest denominations in American currency. However, the 2016 dime falls under a specific series, the Roosevelt dime. This design was introduced in 1946, just after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and was created to honor his legacy. The design was conceived by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time, and it features a portrait of Roosevelt on the obverse, the front side of the coin. Around Roosevelt's image, the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and "The Year of Minting" appear. It's simple, yet powerful, and perfectly captures the dignified nature of the former president. The reverse or back of the Roosevelt dime features an elegant design of a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, each symbolizing key American values: liberty, peace, and strength. These images have remained largely unchanged since the coin's inception, making the 2016 dime part of a long-standing tradition of honoring Roosevelt's contributions to the country. So, with this basic understanding of the dime's design, we move forward to examine how the coin was minted. The U.S. Mint produces coins at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. In 2016, each of these mints produced their own batches of dimes, with the majority being distributed for regular circulation. Most of these dimes are indistinguishable from one another, especially to the casual observer. However, as with any production process, small variations and imperfections can sometimes arise during minting, and in the world of coins, these imperfections can make a world of difference in terms of value. Typically, the value of a coin is determined by its rarity, its demand within the numismatic community, and, of course, its condition. In the case of the 2016 dime, the vast majority of them are worth exactly 10 cents, what we would expect from a typical circulating coin. But what if there's something more to these dimes, something that sets them apart from the standard issue? Well, as it turns out, there are indeed certain versions of the 2016 dime that have become highly coveted among collectors, and it all boils down to one key factor: a rare minting error. Occasionally, the U.S. Mint will make a mistake during the coin production process, resulting in what's known as an error coin. These errors come in many forms. Some coins may be struck with the wrong design, while others might have misaligned dies, double strikes, or unusual patterns of wear. In the case of the 2016 dime, the error that's most sought after by collectors is known as the misaligned die error. But what exactly does this mean? Well, a misaligned die occurs when the dies used to strike the design onto the coin are not properly aligned. This can result in a variety of issues. The design may appear shifted or off-center, sometimes with part of the coin's design completely missing or only partially visible. Because the coin's design doesn't line up as it was intended, the result is a unique, one-of-a-kind coin, something that stands out from the rest of the dimes in circulation. And as with any rare or unusual item, collectors are more than willing to pay a premium for these coins. But here's where the real twist comes in. While most misaligned die coins are worth a little more than their face value due to their rarity, some of the 2016 misaligned dimes have been selling for mind-blowing amounts, up to $35,000 or more. That's right. A coin originally worth just 10 cents could end up fetching a price that's far higher than any of us would ever expect. But how does that happen? It all comes down to the rarity and condition of the coin. The 2016 misaligned die dimes are so rare that finding one of them in circulation is akin to finding a needle in a haystack. To add to the rarity, these error coins often need to be in near-perfect condition in order to command top dollar. Coins that are well preserved, with no visible scratches, dents, or excessive wear, are the ones that collectors are most eager to get their hands on. It's also important to note that the condition of the coin can vary widely depending on how it was handled in the years after it was minted. Coins that were well preserved in an album or carefully stored away will almost always fetch a higher price than those that have been tossed around in pocket change. So, if you're lucky enough to come across a 2016 dime with a misaligned die, how can you tell if it's truly valuable? Well, first, you need to examine the coin closely. A misaligned die error typically results in a design that's visibly off-center, with one side of the coin's image appearing distorted or partially cut off. You might notice that the lettering or features of Roosevelt's portrait appear to be shifted, or the branches on the reverse may not be fully aligned. The more extreme the misalignment, the more likely the coin will be considered valuable. If you think you've found a potential treasure, the next step is to have the coin professionally graded by a reputable numismatic organization. The grading process will assess the coin's condition, its authenticity, and its rarity, 3 key factors that will determine how much it's worth. In fact, This is one of the most important steps in determining the value of any rare coin. Without a proper grading, it's difficult to know for sure whether the coin will fetch a high price or not. Collectors are always on the lookout for rare coins like the 2016 misaligned dime, and as more collectors enter the market, the value of these coins can rise even higher. Coins that might have been worth a few $100s a decade ago can now sell for thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, depending on their rarity and condition. For many people, the discovery of a rare coin like this can feel like finding a hidden treasure. It's a reminder that even the most unassuming objects, like a 10-cent piece, can hold significant value. It's also a testament to the world of numismatics, where history, art, and luck come together to create something extraordinary. In the world of coin collecting, there's always something new to discover. Whether it's the thrill of finding a rare error coin, the excitement of bidding on an auction, or the satisfaction of completing a collection, the world of coins is one filled with surprises. And who knows, maybe the next rare find could be sitting in your pocket right now, waiting to be discovered. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the world of the 2016 one dime. If you've got a jar of loose change sitting around, it might just be worth your time to take a closer look. You never know what hidden gems you might find inside. After all, the value of a coin is often more than just what's stamped on it. It's about the story it tells and the history it represents.